here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Cop handcuffs firefighter for trying to protect crash victims. To detain one of our firemen in the middle of an incident is ridiculous. But it's more than ridiculous. It's a total power trip where police have been told they can give any order they want, and God himself would need to follow that order. It's like in the movie Full Metal Jacket where the Marine Corps general says, all I ask of my troops is that they obey my orders as if it was the word of God. But the problem is that police now just come in houses without warrants. They just do whatever and say, you didn't mind my order. I'm going to come in your house. I'm going to do whatever I want. And we know what happens. This is part of the authoritarian march by design. The police have changed and are changing, and the police are incrementally told that it's okay they're doing this. They're the most brainwashed people out there. That's why we focus so much on the police. So cop handcuffs firefighter in California. Stunning video shows California Highway Patrol officer handcuffing a firefighter who was trying to help victims of a serious car crash in Chula Vista. Now my problem is I have other videos of this. The cops are cussing so much on it. We're going to try to bleep it out live on air as we play it. But we've got a CBS News report on it that's been cleaned up. And we've got the one out of Oklahoma, but this one in California just happened. And the ambulance on the two-lane road is waving the cop around him. He pulls him over and says, I don't like those hand gestures. You can see it all in the squad car video. And I can't believe how calm the ambulance driver and the paramedic are. The paramedic says, don't talk to my driver like that. And he goes, you get your bleep back in that vehicle right now. And then it just goes on and on and on, and them justifying it while the woman's having a heart attack in the back. I mean, it's crazy. And if that woman would have died, they would have said she had a pre-existing condition. It had nothing to do with us stopping it. I mean, it's crazy town. Absolute crazy town. And it means we live in an authoritarian country where they do proctology exams on the side of the highway. They take money out of people's wallets now, even $1,000, and say, prove it isn't for drugs. I mean, it is nuts. It is crazy. It is un-American by any stretch of the imagination. It's authoritarianism. Let's go to this CBS News report out of California. It's up on Infowars.com. Here it is.
Thousands of comments on the CBS News 8 Facebook page and website outraged about a handcuffed firefighter in Chula Vista.
Hey, I just want to, he's arrested me.
Chula Vista firefighter Jacob Gregoire calls for his supervisor. Only CBS News 8 has this heated exchange between the veteran firefighter and an unnamed CHP officer about the safety of where the fire truck is parked during a rollover accident.
The issue here is the fire department knows what they're doing. You've got a 3-lane highway right there, and you've got a tiny shoulder. So for everyone's safety, they park the fire truck on the shoulder and then out into one lane. And most police departments do the same thing so people don't get run over. You've got a flipped over car there. There's cops, it looks like, on Infowars.com going, I'm sick of these firefighters. I'm glad they arrested him. You're not supposed to block a lane of the road. We want the road open. This is insane. It's like people that thought it was weird that we saw a burning car and John Bound pulled over on 360 and told the lady, get away from the car. When she's standing 2 feet from a car that had fire under it and then blew up 2 minutes later. And the cars are all driving right by it. It's like, oh, big deal. This is this whole attitude of don't help anybody, don't get involved, and then also arrest paramedics, arrest firefighters. Let's go back to the report after the break, and then I'll get into the whole situation in Oklahoma just to show the crazy mindset. And again, this does not reflect all the police, but it's a minority of police who've been told, they've all been told this, but it's the minority that then act on it, that you can do whatever you want and just look for an excuse to arrest somebody, and you're above everyone.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.
Throughout history, and in every authoritarian regime that are the majority of regimes worldwide currently are there to keep the general public in line and tax them and generate revenue. They are not there to hunt down criminals. And the last 20 years, the FBI, the IRS have gotten rid of almost all their white-collar fraud investigators. And now the FBI, a month ago, officially said they're not even going to focus on white-collar issues, period. Their main focus is terrorism. That means power grabbing and fighting imaginary enemies that they actually finance. That's the bottom line. Going after reporters, going after leakers, going after the press. And you've got more news out today I'm going to be getting to with members of Congress and others calling for the arrest of anyone that reports corruption and saying that Snowden and Greenwald especially is a criminal that needs to be arrested. When Greenwald exposed the stolen data of the American people that the government is stealing illegally, they exposed the crime. Remember, senior congressman attempts to get FBI director to say investigative journalism is a crime. He basically says it is. He calls Greenwald a thief stealing stolen material, close quote. That's Representative Mike Rogers of Minnesota. I mean, with Republicans like this, who needs Democrats? I mean, this is just unbelievable that they're talking about stolen data. You're the ones that are stealing it all in public plain view and have been caught lying, saying you weren't. And you've got the nerve to call people criminals and traitors who they've only released the fact that you're spying on everybody and how you're doing it, which was already known from previous NSA whistleblowers. The only difference is that The Guardian was willing to publish this stuff and that Snowden went to Hong Kong and then to Russia. And because he went to Russia, the media tried to spin it and thought they could demonize leakers to try to tie it to Russia and cloak and dagger clandestine garbage. The Russians don't need to know from Snowden what's going on. It's all hardwired into all the internet infrastructure. If I knew all about this by 1997, more than what you've heard from Snowden, exactly what I've told you about the NSA has now been all confirmed. Because I know real NSA whistleblowers, people that would meet me at the rodeo, at the car show, at the book signing, at the video signing. People would meet me show up in the parking lot and give me stuff that was so classified, I didn't even know what I was getting, and I would shred the stuff. And I got death threats over it as well. It's all on record. It's all on record, I told you. It's all for economic espionage. It's to predict the future in mass movements, individual movements. It's wired into everything. It's watching, it's listening, it's collating. It's the smart grid. We told you. We told you everything. The Russians know all this. And then I had James Bamford on in 98 and 2000, the former producer of Nightline, who got all the classified documents. And Wayne Madsen in the late 90s right through to now. I've been interviewing Madsen for 15, 16 years. And what I'm getting at here is I'm not bragging, saying, oh, we covered all this and nobody else did. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying it's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's not a secret that our military, since Vietnam at least, ships in the majority of the heroin, the majority of the cocaine. The Nazis took over the heroin trade when they were able to take over Italy and Greece at the time, and other areas there in the Mediterranean, Cyprus. And then when we invaded to take it back from the Nazis, they just took over the criminal networks and the criminal keys. And the argument was if they didn't work with the mafia, they would have sided with the Nazis. But from day one, that's why the CIA uses Italian hitmen so often, is because they're from overseas, they're in a code, they'll never talk, and they don't even know who hired them. They're ordered by their bosses to go kill people. It's the perfect go-between. And then the media uses the ignorance of the public and goes, well, was it Italian hitmen, or was it British hitmen, or was it CIA hitmen? I mean, they say it's the CIA, the Italian mafia, the British jackal. I mean, who was it? It's all the same group. It's organized crime, folks. Grow up. Stop being naive. I have had multiple members of my family who were in the U.S. Army and were officers that were involved in serious stuff. And they didn't even tell me much of it. Just, oh, yeah, you're on target and you're right. I have a great uncle who recently died, who was an Army officer and was brought into the CIA and got out of it, would not do the stuff they wanted him to do. He did a lot of stuff, but wouldn't do what they wanted him to do in Chicago. In Chicago. And by the way, this means my family's some special family. Folks, you talk about Texas, South Texas, West Texas, East Texas, Central Texas. It's like CIA recruiting area. Because they all know where, look at Audie Murphy, all the Texans. I mean, the government got it in its head that Texans will get the job done. Heavy recruiting out of Texas, the Midwest as well. And I mean, let me tell you, it's a giant army of people, folks. Most Army officers that have been in combat and been in multiple decades are not really even Army officers, ladies and gentlemen. They're in the shadow government. And I am so sick of how mindlessly naive the general public is. You need to grow up and you need to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know how it really is? They make it funny and stylize it, so I didn't like the movie, but the information was actually very accurate, other than the fact that it made it very cartoonish. Two Guns. I saw that a few months ago. And you know who was in the audience when I watched Two Guns? Special Forces, police, and FBI agents. You could tell that's FBI, that's a federal marshal, those guys are military. When the movie ended, I'd walk over and talk to them. They're like, yeah, how do you know that? Oh, give me a break. You all guys all look like what type you are. And they were all there laughing and smiling during it because it was like some revelation of the method to Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington movie. I'm not going to give the whole movie away, but it's just every element of the government is dealing drugs. Every element, the CIA, the DEA, the FBI, the Marines, the Navy. Because, folks, let me explain something to you. That's how it really works. And it is unbelievable. And guess who runs the whole thing? The State Department. State Department runs the whole show. The CIA, the NSA, the Pentagon, everything. Because State Department's been around the longest. It's got all the tentacles in, all the command points. And the reason I go off into that whole diatribe is this shadow government is now absorbing the economy and has put out directives to ban bake sales and kids selling lemonade and little girls baking cupcakes. And telling people that you can't have 8 kids over for a birthday party in your own rural farmhouse. That was in the news Monday. You go, why is this happening? Forbes asked. The Week asked. All these publications go, why is there a war directed by the feds to the states? Because we're in a prison, folks. I don't want to live under a Pentagon and a CIA that wants to ban lemonade stands. I mean, you people are scum, and you know it. And it's not cute like Two Guns where everybody's out killing each other and everybody's a gangster and has all this money. You are wrecking the country. And I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of the naivete of the police out there to the arrogant level of arresting and beating up and choking paramedics because after 15 minutes on the side of the road, they go, that's it. You pulled us over because we didn't get out of your way when we can't. And then they start choking them. And then they go, well, he assaulted us. We're going to charge him. And the public saw the video, and there was such outrage, they backed off. They were going to put the paramedic in jail and charge them. They were going to charge until there was backlash and a camera, the firefighter. They're going to, I mean, this is crazy land. Crazy land. And the cop says, I got to go around you in Oklahoma, and then pulls them over for 15 minutes. If he had to get somewhere so bad. This is all about, I'm a gangster, do what I say. And you've been given this illegitimate power because the country has been taken over, period. You need to wake up to that. You need to understand that, ladies and gentlemen. And stop being so naive. Now, let's go ahead and go back to that CBS News report out of California where the highway patrol officer, public servant, arrest the other public servant, firefighter, for parking on the shoulder out into one lane of a 3-lane highway. You can see the traffic flying by. It's not stopping traffic. Plus, they're going to stop anyways if you park on the shoulder. because everybody wants to rubberneck and look. But plus, you couldn't park the fire truck on the little shoulder. And cops obsess over safety all day, and then they just tell the fire truck, move. It's crazy. On average, police officers are some of the best people I run into, some of the best people I know. It's a really hard job. But they are trying to warp them and turn them into mindless enforcers so that they will follow any order. It's like zero tolerance where a kid has a cupcake that looks like a gun. You know, the icing looks like a gun, so you're kicked out of school. Or you bring a Lego gun that's a half-inch long, you know, for your Lego toy, or it's in your lunchbox and the police come. It's all about just mindlessness. Or the neighbors, you know, you're shooting a gun on your 200-acre ranchette, and the neighbor doesn't like it and calls the police, and they still come out and still arrest you. That happens in Texas all the time. Well, they felt threatened, hearing the gunshots. Sorry, you're going to jail. That is happening all the time. And that's why they have, quote, zero tolerance, is so that the police have no discretion. And then they can have whatever federal edict they want roll down to the local department with federal grants, and now the police are robots. There's a war on the press everywhere. There's a war on people filming in public, and we're sick of it. It's like the NSA in San Antonio or in Salt Lake City with my reporters going, what are you doing filming the facility? Well, we're here to draw attention to it and cover it. We're with Infowars.com. Yeah, we know who you are. What are... You can't film us. Oh, really? You can steal all my data publicly and get caught and not get in trouble? But we're not supposed to aim a camera at your front gate? Well, you could be a terrorist. Oh, you mean like the terrorist the government publicly runs? It's all a hoax. It's all a power grab. It's all a Rand Corporation plan. Go read the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program. Go read the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. Go read the National Police Stabilization Force. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Go read how they put the poison in the water to brain damage you by the White House Science Czar, Cass Sunstein. Just type in White House Science Czar, poison in the water. It'll be his book. He's proud of it. He told you what he's doing. That's why I get so angry and frustrated. I know the plan. I know I'm right. I know where we're going. And they're using the American people's goodwill to sell this evil. By the way, I'm going to start the next hour, cover a bunch of news, economic news, world news, the good news, the bad news, the ugly news. I didn't mean to go off on a jag about arresting firefighters. It's just total insanity. And them choking that paramedic and then telling him not to resist as he's just going, come on, man. All because he dared to go, come on, let us get on down the road. Woman's having a heart attack. You respect my authority, boy. That's crazy land. The InfoWars crew absolutely loves coffee because we love being awake. And I am somewhat of a connoisseur of coffee. So many times you go to a restaurant or even to a coffee shop and the coffee tastes like garbage. And in all the different coffees I've tried, my favorite is grown in the high mountains, in shade, Arabica, on the border with Guatemala in southern Mexico by the Chiapas farmers. I make sure we've done the research. I make sure it's the very best product that we can offer you when I put my name on it. And I believe, and it's my taste, so you may differ, that this is the best coffee in the world from southern Mexico. Wake Up America Patriot Blend, 100% organic, Arabica shade grown. And then we have the Immune Support, 100% organic coffee, infused with a special type of mushroom known to boost the immunity.
This coffee is seriously so smooth. I normally have to douse my coffee with cream and sugar and cinnamon and all kinds of tasty treats, but this, I drink this black. It is so good.
Well, that's why I like it, is that it has a kick, it has really good caffeine in it, it has a good clean wake up that lasts for a long time, doesn't give me a headache, but it's so smooth, it's so delicious. Just try it out for yourself. I'm telling you, this is my favorite coffee. We went through a lot of trouble to bring you this. Just try it, and I think you'll be hooked like we are here at InfoWars. Well, folks, find out for yourself and support the information war today. It's all available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.